Hello, my name's Martha. Welcome back to my channel, Preparing for Retirement. Today I want to talk about a tour that we took through VA Tour, and it's a half-day Tuk Tuk ride through Old City in Chiang Mai. So this is all part of our month-long test trip that we took in spring of 2025. So first of all, I found this tour on VA Tour, and it was only $31 for the two of us to book, and it was going to give us an idea of the city, the old city, where we were staying. We would sort of know where some things were, and we'd have a chance to see some temples and historic sites as well. And by the time that we did this, we had only been in the city for a couple of days, so I highly recommend, and this will be linked below. So here's a picture of the Tuk Tuk that picked us up bright and early, and here we are in the back. It was actually a really cool way to travel. So first thing that he did was take us to the outskirts of the old city, which has the ancient wall and the moat as well encircling, and explain to us about the general building of the old city and the defense of the old city. So it was really interesting for us to be able to drive around and just kind of get an idea of the scope, the size of Old City. We had been walking around the neighborhoods for a couple of days by this point, but you still kind of get lost as to where you are in relation to everything else. The first shrine that we went to was the Silver Shrine, and this is a very famous site in Chiang Mai. It's not actually located in the old city. It is slightly south of the old city in a small town that is known for its silver work. For this temple, women are not allowed inside the temple. Only men can enter the temple, because the man is a monk, is how she explained it to us. The man is a monk, so they can enter the temple, but women cannot enter the temple. I can walk outside, and we are allowed to take pictures. This was a really amazing work of art. Everything on the grounds basically was covered in silver. So to see it shining in the sun was incredible. So Lou went in, he did take some pictures. So I've included those here. As you can see, it's just gorgeous. Everything inside the temple and outside the temple are coated in silver. And this was renovated around 2000 by the silversmiths in this village. So they've been keeping up with it. And apparently there is no other temple like this in Asia at all. They asked for an offering of 50 baht each to enter the grounds, and that was for the whole day. So, they probably would not have argued if you'd come back again another day with that same entry, but it was, just a little over, it's about $1.50. So really there's no issue with paying that. And there were actually people entering the grounds to pray and to light offerings. So it was a very peaceful place. They did have some booths where you could purchase your offerings that you were going to make. And then they also had a small building in red, and that was a museum that you could enter and see some more of the history about this shrine and the grounds. So very, very cool place, and just gorgeous to behold in the sunshine. As I mentioned before, they did have various works inside the museum that detailed the history, masks, different offerings that were left that were meaningful, and they really encouraged photography here. I do believe that they want people to see and understand the history of these sites. You could purchase some of the temple items here, but we didn't, we don't have a place to keep things anymore, so we don't purchase anything. But they were for sale, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful grounds. Now, there were some other buildings, some other shrines here that I could go in, some of the smaller ones, so I was able to enjoy those. Okay, so it looks like I can go in this temple. So you leave your shoes. I am properly covered. So the man that you hear calling out to us here is a monk, and he did cleanse us so that we could go further in the temple and closer to the Buddha. And here on the left you can see that there are a line of chairs. They were very clearly marked not to sit in. Those are for different monks. And then of course you have the offerings that are in front of the Buddha, as well as many works of art on the side, on the walls. It was really just a beautiful interior. While we were here, there were some worshipers that came in and hung their requests, and were also blessed by the monk. The doors were real works of art, and they were huge. I asked Lou to stand in front so that you could get an idea of the scale of these things. But here, again, here's the entryway marking the entrance into the temple grounds and the exit from. And, it's so funny. They even had a coffee shop in the temple grounds. So from the Silver Temple, we went back into the Old City, and we did go to the Three Kings Monument, which celebrates the 3 different kings that founded Chiang Mai. Next, it was on to our second Wat, and that was Wat Phra Singh, and it was built in 1345, and it was famous for having housed the Emerald Buddha, which is currently in Bangkok. The dragons on the outside of the temple leading up the steps were just absolutely magnificent. And inside there was just art everywhere. It was kind of overwhelming. There was just so much to look at, so much art all over the walls. And again, you had the line of chairs on the side that were for monks to sit only. And then we did have worshipers coming in and out of the temple. So we were trying to be very quiet and respectful. But it was just so beautiful. and from there it was back in the Tuk Tuk as we left for the next temple. It's amazing how many temples we found, not just on this drive, but in our walks through the neighborhoods. You turn down a side road and there's a temple. It reminds me very much of Kyoto, Japan, which is known as the City of Shrines. You'll just be walking down an alleyway and it'll just be there. There'll just be a shrine. It'll be beautiful, and it's hard for us, I think, to relate to this in the United States, that these historic buildings are just in neighborhoods all over the cities. So we've been really enjoying that very much in our walks around Chiang Mai. My goodness.
Last temple I show you. Actually in Chiang Mai have a lot of the temple, 70, 80 the temple.
Right.
But here, first temple in Chiang Mai.
Oh,
800 year.
very first, okay.
Oh, 800 year before.
800 years.
Yes, the first temple in Chiang Mai.
Oh my gosh.
And inside the old chapel have marble Buddha and crystal Buddha.
Oh,
More than 2,500.
2,500 years
Yes.
old.
Nice.
Okay for
Oh.
lady.
Okay for ladies?
Yes, in
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
good.
I will don the shirt one more time.
No problem, take your time. Okay, take your time.
This is the last temple?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So once again, I was not able to enter the main temple, but I was able to enter the smaller temple. And here you can see us walking up to the smaller temple, and going up the stairs you have a pair of dragons that are protectors. And you were required to leave your shoes at the step before you went up. I can tell you, it was an extremely hot day. And those tiles going up the stairs were toasty warm on the feet. Once you went inside, it was just absolutely stunning, with all the artwork telling the story of this shrine. So just gorgeous, just gorgeous. Just trying to take it all in here, and I wish the light was better, but just beautiful. As beautiful as the inside and outside of this temple was, behind the temple buildings there was a very old structure, and it was just magnificent. I don't know how old this particular structure was, but the carving work was just beautiful on the stone. By this point, we were getting pretty hot, so we decided to go across the street, and there was a street vendor with cold drinks. And from here we went on to the main gate of the city, and there are several gates. We were told that this was the gate that they used to take to go back and forth from Bangkok. It took all day to get to Bangkok. And tourists will stand outside the gate, and they will attract there are different vendors who will attract the pigeons and then scare them to cause them to take flight for photos. It was very interesting.
We are in the Warara market, and we just bought some shirts, and we have stall after stall after stall. This is apparently a 24-hour market, is what our guide told us. And so we're in search of cooler pants.
So at this point, we were just walking around the market. It was our last stop on this tour, and it was amazing how many stalls were here. There was food everywhere. We sampled lots of things. We brought some fruit to take back to the hotel. It was just amazing. We've learned since that Thailand just has food everywhere. So we have yet to figure out how everyone is able to make a living off of it, but they are. And so anyway, highly recommend this tour. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you're interested in content like this, I thank you so much, and I ask if you would please like, share, and subscribe. We will have a lot more Thailand content coming in the future as we continue our test trip. And thank you again, and God bless. Bye.